Heyo, back at it again with another video. Thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So today is July 18th, the day of recording this video. And JD Vance has been announced within the past couple days that he is going to be Trump's running mate and the nominee for VP for the Republican ticket. So Biden versus Trump, Harris versus Vance as the VP picks. So Biden-Harris versus Trump-Vance. So let's kind of go through how I see this election playing out at the moment. So to be honest, there's been a lot happening over the past couple weeks. The debate performance, the Trump assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. There's been a lot happening within the past couple weeks. However, let's kind of go through how I see this playing out electorally. So we're going to go through blue states, so Washington, Oregon, California, New Mexico, Colorado, Hawaii. West Coast, Illinois, Minnesota, Maryland, Delaware, Jersey, New York, Virginia, DC, much of New England with the exception of Maine's 2nd Congressional District and New Hampshire. So that's about 220 we're starting out with for the Democrats. These are states that no matter what happens, pretty solidly blue or red either way. So we're going to go through the states. We got Indiana, West Virginia, and South Carolina. So about 220 solidly blue, about 120 solidly red. I forgot Nebraska's at-large electoral votes. So let's kind of go through how I see this happening, starting from out west. Nevada, the thing about Nevada is if you really turn out the vote in Las Vegas, you win the state. Like most of 80%, 90% of Nevada's population is right here within the Las Vegas, Nevada metro area. So this is going to be lean blue because urban and suburban over the past decade or so has really trended towards Democrat. Like Democrats are the urban vote, Republicans are the rural vote, and suburban votes have kind of swayed the election in the past couple decades. So Nevada is lean blue because if Biden can really turn out the vote in Nevada, and especially within the Las Vegas area, then he's a win in that state. And Nevada at the national level has been pretty blue the past couple election cycles. All right, let's talk about Arizona. So Arizona is a very interesting state because Arizona is a lot like Georgia. I've said this before, 2016 they both voted for Trump, but in 2020 they both voted for Biden, and since 2016 they now have 2 Democratic senators. Kirsten Sinema is an independent, but she won as a Democrat, so in my mind she still leans Democrat. So Arizona and Georgia are a lot alike. They have trended towards the left. At the local levels, they are still pretty Republican, especially in Georgia. Like if you look at the 2022 midterms, and they both states had gubernatorial or governor's races in those states. Republicans won pretty handily at the governor's race in Georgia, but Katie Hobbs won pretty narrowly against I can't remember her name. Anyways, Katie Hobbs won pretty narrowly against her Republican challenger, and Arizona went blue at the governor's level. So I think Arizona is trending towards the left. I think it's still a toss-up, but ever since Senator McCain passed away, I believe the Republican Party in the state of Arizona has really been fighting more with itself than fighting the Democratic Party in the state. So also I believe Biden has better suburban appeal than Trump does, because if you look at the 2020 race, Biden was able to really win suburban voters over in Phoenix, was able to win them over in Atlanta, Philly, Detroit, and Milwaukee, Madison area. So if I have to say who has the advantage slightly in suburban votes, it would be Biden, because Trump has some baggage that kind of doesn't do too well within suburban America. So let's go over to Texas. Texas is pretty red, but if you look at the 2000 election versus the 2020 election, George Bush beat Al Gore 60 to 30-ish percent, 65 to 35-ish percent in Texas. But if you look at the 2020, it is 52 to 48. So the gap is narrowing for Democrats to really take Texas seriously. But I don't think Texas is going blue this cycle. I think Texas has the opportunity to go blue in 28 or 32. So Texas going red, Florida pretty red. Florida has trended red ever since Trump took office. A lot of conservatives have kind of flocked to Florida. So I don't think Florida is a battleground state, but most people still say it is, but I don't agree. Speaking of battleground states that I don't think are battleground states, Iowa and Ohio. Iowa and Ohio are a lot alike because Iowa, Ohio, and Florida voted for Obama twice in 2008 and 2012. However, they've trended back towards the right ever since. So Iowa, Ohio, and Florida are states that I don't think are battleground states, but I have let them blank to start the video because a lot of people still think they're battleground states. All right, let's go. I'll come back down to Georgia, North Carolina. I'll move up to the Midwest, Northeast. Oh, actually, I forgot about Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. So if you don't know, Nebraska and Maine do their electoral college votes both at the state level and by their congressional districts. So Nebraska has 5 votes overall. So if you win the state, you get 2, and then if you win the congressional districts, you get a vote each. Same thing with Maine. You win the state, you get 2, and then if you win the congressional districts, you get an additional vote. So Nebraska's 2nd is Omaha, which is a very urban, suburban metro area. So I think Biden has the edge in there. But I'm going to label it light blue because it's still somewhat competitive. Same thing with Maine. I'm going to mark that light red because that is a very rural district. It is represented by Jared Golden in the House. He's very middle-of-the-road Democrat, very conservative Democrat. Same thing with Nebraska 2nd, represented by a Republican, Don Bacon, but kind of trended the other way at the national level. All right, let's do New Hampshire. New Hampshire's been pretty solidly lean towards the left nationally. So I think New Hampshire is pretty lean blue. Pennsylvania. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a really big battleground state. If you look at Pennsylvania, you have to kind of think of it a lot like Michigan. So Michigan and Pennsylvania in 2016 voted for Trump. It was narrow, but it was a victory. Ever since then, it was 2018, Michigan got Gretchen Whitmer as the Democratic governor. Re-elected Governor Wolf in Pennsylvania in 2018. Michigan and Pennsylvania have kind of shifted back to lean left status because if you look at 2020, Biden was able to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And then in 2022, Gretchen Whitmer won pretty considerably in 2022 midterms. Governor Shapiro won as a Democrat, and the Democrats were able to win a 3rd term as governors in Pennsylvania, which is not easy to do because Pennsylvania's kind of swung back and forth a lot. So I think Pennsylvania is lean to the left because if you are Biden and you can really turn out this Scranton, Pennsylvania Philly, Pennsylvania, like especially along this corridor, then you're in pretty good shape to win the state. So I still think Pennsylvania is lean to the left, because if we've seen over the past couple election cycles, 2016, 2018, 2020, 2022, Pennsylvania is still able to vote with the Democratic Party, and I think Biden has a real shot at winning Pennsylvania. All right, let's go to Michigan. I still think that's the same thing. Michigan is a lot like Pennsylvania. 2016 voted for Trump. 2018 kind of voted along that blue wave midterm. 2020 voted for Biden. 2022 had a pretty decent showing. You had Governor Whitmer reelected. You had, I believe, winning the state house and state senate very narrowly for the Democrats. Yeah, so I think Michigan's a lot like Pennsylvania, kind of lean blue. All right, let's go to Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Georgia are the last three. All right, North Carolina is a lean to the right. And the reason I say that is because it's been pretty competitive the past couple election cycles, but Republicans still kind of have the edge in North Carolina. The suburban vote has been growing in the state for a long time, so I think North Carolina can go Democrat in the future. However, I don't think it'll go Democrat this cycle. All right, let's Wisconsin and Georgia are the ones that I'm not sure about. Legitimately not sure about. Because Wisconsin is a state that's become very competitive at the national level. 2008, 2012, pretty solidly voting for Obama. 2016, narrowly voting for Trump. But then in 2018, Governor Evers won at the governor's race. 2022, he was able to be reelected. And in 2020, he voted for Biden. So Wisconsin is legitimately a toss-up state at this point. It can honestly go either very lean blue or Trump can narrowly win it. Which, honestly, either way, I would not be surprised in the slightest. Legitimately, I think Wisconsin has, become the ultimate battleground state, because you just never know. Like, at least with Michigan and Pennsylvania, you can kind of see the signs, like, oh, they've kind of shifted more to the left ever since 2016. But I still think Biden has the edge in suburban votes, so I do think he can win Wisconsin. I think it's going to be challenging, but I think Biden can still win. Trump, again, has the baggage of suburban votes that, he has all these legal cases and over the course of time, we've seen Trump really have a suburban vote issue that he hasn't been able to address. So Biden, I think, can also win Georgia. I think Wisconsin and Georgia are two states that are going to be like legitimate toss-ups. But I still think that Georgia has trended leftward at the national level. If this map looks familiar to you, it's because it's the exact same map as 2020. Same candidates, Biden, Trump, same map. It's legitimately Groundhog Day. In the electoral picture, I see absolutely no change whatsoever. There's been a lot happen since the last election. We've had January 6th. We've had the entire Biden presidency. We've had the debate performance. We've had the Trump assassination. We've had Ukraine. We've had Israel, Palestine. We've had it all. But I still think the U.S. electorate, the U.S. public, is so deeply entrenched in who they're going to vote for that it doesn't matter all these events that have happened. So I think best case scenario for Biden is this. best case scenario for Trump is this. It would be a narrow win, but a win's a win. But that's the best case scenario I could see for Trump, because he can't really compete in the suburbs of Michigan and Pennsylvania that well. We've seen that. But I still think Biden has the edge in suburban appeal. So this is what I think is going to happen. Literally the exact same thing as 2020. If it feels like the movie Groundhog's Day, it's because it is the movie Groundhog's Day. Exact same candidates, exact same map. That's what I think. Whether or not that happens, we will find out. But that is my prediction as of July 18th, because I still think the American public is pretty set in their ways. Biden or Trump, they kind of have remained the same. And to be honest, I don't think Vance brings that much to the ticket for Trump. Like, I really don't. Like, Mike Pence really brought along the evangelical vote, but I don't think Vance has that same thing that he brings to the ticket. Like, he's young, and that's about it. Like, he's from the Rust Belt, so he has something that he can bring. He can bring that appeal of, that Rust Belt, effect. But I don't think he brings that much to the ticket, honestly. With Harris, she brings along, a solidified, there's a woman on the ticket, brings that female appeal to the ticket. Brings the appeal of the African American vote. But Vance, I don't think brings that much to the ticket. Like, if Trump, personally, I think Trump should have picked Nikki Haley, because then that would have really appealed to female voters. But that's just me. This is how I see the election going as of right now. Will things change? Probably. So that's just how I see it happening. So thank you for watching. That is my take as of right now. If I'm right, cool. If I'm wrong, we will find out how I'm wrong in the coming months. So thank you for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Deuces.